Billionaire Dad's daughter sees poor Mum with twin babies in the cold on Christmas Eve, and the billionaire dad does something unexpected. The snow fell softly and steadily over Boston. It was Christmas Eve, and the streets were practically deserted. Those who could were already home, warm and celebrating. The colorful lights flickered in the windows, red, green, gold, creating a beautiful, almost unreal setting. But outside, the cold was biting. John walked hand in hand with Lily, his 5-year-old daughter. She wore a pink hat with a pom-pom and gloves that barely fit her tiny hands. They had gone to the corner to pick up a last-minute dessert. Dinner was almost ready at home, and John wanted everything to be perfect. It was the first Christmas he and Lily were spending alone since she was born, and he had made an effort to make the night special. "Daddy, look!" Lily pointed up, enchanted by the snowflakes dancing under the streetlights. "Beautiful, isn't it?" John smiled, squeezing her small hand. They turned the corner onto their street when Lily suddenly stopped. Her blue eyes widened, and she pulled hard on her father's coat. "Daddy, look over there." John followed his daughter's gaze and felt his chest tighten. On the sidewalk, leaning against the brick wall of a building, was a young woman. She was sitting on the cold ground, her legs pulled up, trying to shield 2 babies she held in her arms from the cold. The 2 girls were small, blonde, with light eyes that shone even in the dim light. They were wrapped in thin blankets, but it was clear it wasn't enough. The woman was trembling, the babies were too. Lily let go of her father's hand and took a few steps toward them. "Lily, wait!" John followed her, but the girl was already too close for him to stop. "Hi," Lily said, with that gentle, curious voice only children have. "Are you cold?" The woman raised her face. She looked to be in her early 20s, with messy brown hair falling over her shoulders, her face pale with exhaustion. Her eyes were red, as if she had been crying recently. She looked at Lily and tried to smile, but it was a sad, broken smile. "I am," she replied softly. Lily looked at the 2 babies, fascinated. "And them too." "Yes, them too." John approached slowly, feeling a lump in his throat. He knew that look. It was the look of someone with nowhere left to go. "I'm sorry," he said, placing a hand on Lily's shoulder. "My daughter is sometimes too curious." The woman shook her head. "It's okay." "She's very sweet." Lily kept looking at the 2 babies, with that worried expression children get when they see something wrong. She knelt down a little, trying to get a better look at the girls' tiny faces. "They're shaking," Lily said, turning to her father with wide eyes. "Daddy, they are really cold." John felt his chest tighten even more. He looked at the woman, who quickly lowered her eyes, as if ashamed. The babies started whimpering softly, and she rocked them in her arms, trying to calm them down. Lily pulled on her father's coat again, this time even harder. "Daddy?" "Yes, sweetie. Can I invite her to Christmas at our house?" Her voice came out so innocent, so full of kindness, that John felt his eyes sting. He looked at Olivia, who had raised her face and was now staring at Lily with an expression somewhere between surprise and despair. "Lily," John began, but the girl interrupted. "Please, Daddy." "They're cold, and it's Christmas today. We have food and the house is warm. We can't leave them here." John crouched down, meeting his daughter at eye level. "Sweetie, we can't just—" "Why not?" Lily looked at him with those sincere blue eyes. "You said that at Christmas we have to be good to everyone. You said we have to help those who need it." John was silent. She was right. He had said that, and now, right in front of him, was a situation where he needed to prove that he believed his own words. He looked at Olivia again. Her eyes were fixed on the ground, clearly embarrassed, but tears were silently streaming down her face. The babies continued to whimper, and she pressed them against her chest, trying to warm them with her own body. John took a deep breath and held out his hand to Olivia. "My daughter is right. Come with us." Olivia slowly lifted her face, her eyes wide with surprise. "What? Come spend Christmas with us. It's too cold for you to stay here. I can't." "I don't want to intrude. You must have plans." "Our plan is to eat and be warm," John said, keeping his hand outstretched. "And there's plenty of food. Come on. Lily jumped excitedly. Come, come. You'll like our house. Olivia looked at the two girls in her arms. They were trembling, their faces pale from the cold. She bit her lip, and more tears streamed down. Are you sure? I am, John replied without hesitation. Olivia took a deep breath and her voice came out shaky. Thank you. Thank you so much. She took John's hand, and he helped her up. She was weak, trembling. He carefully held her arm so she wouldn't fall. What's your name? Lily asked, walking beside them as they headed home. Olivia. I'm Lily. And them? Olivia looked at the babies with tired affection. Chloe and Claire. Are they twins? Lily's eyes sparkled. They are. That's so cool. I always wanted a sister. Now I have two. John smiled slightly. Lily was like that, the type to hug the whole world if she could. He was grateful for it at that moment. Their house was just a few feet away. When he opened the door, the warmth hit them immediately. The fireplace was lit, spreading a cozy heat throughout the living room. The Christmas lights twinkled softly on the decorated tree in the corner, and the smell of the roasting turkey wafted from the kitchen. Olivia stopped in the doorway, her eyes wide. She just stood there staring, as if she couldn't believe what she was seeing. Come in, John guided her inside, closing the door behind them. Sit here, near the fireplace. She obeyed, sitting on the sofa with the twins still in her lap. Chloe and Claire stopped whimpering as soon as they felt the warmth. Their little faces began to relax and they snuggled deeper into their mother's arms. Lily took off her hat and gloves and ran close to Olivia, sitting on the floor next to the sofa. They're so tiny. How old are they? 4 months, Olivia replied, her voice still faint. 4 months. Wow, they're really babies. Look at their hair, Daddy. It's blonde like gold. John smiled and went to the kitchen. I'll make you some hot chocolate, Olivia. It will help you warm up. As he stirred the pot, he listened to Lily talking animatedly with Olivia. The girl was asking about the twins, about what they liked, about whether they could smile yet. Olivia answered softly, but a hint of relief could be heard in her voice. John returned with a steaming mug and handed it to Olivia. Here, drink it slowly. Olivia took the mug with both trembling hands, balancing the babies on her lap. She took a sip and closed her eyes, as if it was the best thing she had ever tasted. Thank you, she murmured, her voice choked. Thank you so much, John nodded. Do you need anything? Diapers? Milk for the girls. Olivia nodded, embarrassed. I have diapers in my bag, but the formula ran out this morning. No problem. I'll get some later or tomorrow morning. For now, just rest. Lily stayed there, sitting on the floor, watching the twins with admiration. Every now and then, she reached out and gently touched their tiny fingers, smiling when they grasped her finger. Daddy, they are so cute, Lily said, turning to him. Can we take care of them? We are going to take care of them tonight, John replied, heading back to the kitchen. Now let Olivia rest for a bit, okay? Okay. But Lily did not leave Olivia's side. She stayed there, just looking at the babies, fascinated. Olivia didn't seem to mind. In fact, she seemed grateful for the company. John finished preparing dinner, stirring the vegetables and checking the turkey. Everything was perfect. He set the table, lit the candles, and called the two of them. Olivia, come. Everything is ready. She got up slowly, still holding the twins. They had completely relaxed and were now sleeping peacefully in her arms. When Olivia entered the dining room, her eyes widened. The table was beautiful. The golden, juicy turkey occupied the center, surrounded by platters of roasted potatoes, crispy stuffing, fresh salad, warm bread, and rice with almonds. The candles illuminated everything with a soft light, and the smell was mouth-watering. Wow, Olivia murmured, her eyes welling up again. Sit down. John pulled out a chair for her. Lily, help hold one of the babies so Olivia can eat. I'll hold her. Lily ran to Olivia and held out her little arms. I'm careful, I promise. Olivia hesitated, but something in Lily's confident little face convinced her. She handed Claire to the girl, who held her with all the care in the world, and went back to the sofa. Hello, Claire, Lily whispered, gently rocking the baby. I'm going to take good care of you. John generously served Olivia's plate. She looked at the food and took a deep breath. It's been so long, she began, her voice cracking. It's been so long since I sat at a table like this. John said nothing. He just sat beside her and started eating. Sometimes, silence was worth more than any words. Olivia ate slowly, savoring every bite. She couldn't remember the last time she had eaten something hot, something made with care. Maybe it had been weeks, maybe longer. Lily returned to the table after a while, handing Claire back to Olivia. She fell asleep again. She's so calm. They ate together, in a comfortable silence. Lily told stories about school, about her friends, about what she wanted for Christmas. Olivia listened to everything, smiling softly. It was good to hear that lightness, that innocence. When they finished, John started clearing the plates. Olivia got up too, trying to help. You don't have to, he said. You've done enough just by being here. But I want to help, she insisted. You gave me dinner. You gave me warmth. It's the least I can do. John nodded, allowing her to help him. They washed the dishes together in silence. Lily had already gone to the living room, playing with a doll she had received the previous year. When they finished, Olivia picked up the twins again and walked to the front door. She stood there looking at the snow that was still falling outside. I think we should go, she said softly. John frowned and walked over to her. Go where? Olivia lowered her eyes. I'll figure something out. Olivia, he crossed his arms. Serious. Do you have anywhere to go? She hesitated, bit her lip, and then softly admitted, no. John took a deep breath and moved closer. Then stay. It's warm here. You are safe. But I can't take advantage of your... You're not taking advantage of anything, John interrupted. It's Christmas. No one should be cold on the street. Stay at least for tonight. Olivia stared at him, and again the tears came. She tried to hold them back but couldn't. They streamed freely, wetting her face. Thank you, she whispered, pressing the babies against her chest. Thank you so much. I don't know how to thank you. You don't need to thank me. Just rest. Lily appeared at the living room door, sleepy, rubbing her eyes. Are they going to sleep here, Daddy? Yes, they are. Good, Lily smiled. Then we can play tomorrow morning. John picked up his daughter and carried her to her room. Olivia stayed in the living room, holding Chloe and Claire, who were now sleeping soundly. She looked around. The fireplace was still quietly crackling. The lights on the Christmas tree twinkled softly. The house smelled of food, warmth and safety. For the first time in weeks, Olivia felt something she had forgotten how to feel, hope. And on that Christmas night, as the snow continued to fall outside, she finally allowed her shoulders to relax. They were safe, they were home. Olivia woke up to the soft light entering through the window. For a second, she didn't know where she was. Then she felt the warmth of the blanket, heard the low sound of the fireplace still crackling, and remembered. She was in John and Lily's house. She was safe. Chloe began to whimper softly beside her. Olivia slowly got up from the sofa where she had slept and picked up the baby. Claire was still sleeping peacefully in the makeshift crib John had made with pillows and blankets. Shh, it's okay, Olivia whispered, gently rocking Chloe. Mommy's here. She looked around for the bag where she had kept the last diapers and the bottle. She found everything in the corner near the sofa, exactly where she had left it the night before. She quickly changed Chloe and started preparing the bottle with the little powdered formula she still had. It wouldn't last long. Maybe one more feeding. At most. Olivia sighed, trying not to think about it now. One problem at a time. She sat on the sofa and started feeding Chloe, who sucked the bottle hungrily. The house was silent. John and Lily must still be asleep. It was early. The sun had barely risen completely. But then she heard footsteps coming from the hallway. John appeared at the living room door, his hair messy from just waking up. He was wearing a simple t-shirt and sweatpants. When he saw Olivia awake, he gave a small smile. Good morning. Good morning, Olivia replied softly, trying not to wake Claire. John went straight to the kitchen. Olivia heard the sound of the coffee maker turning on, of cabinets opening and closing, of cups clinking. A few minutes later, he returned with 2 mugs of coffee. "Here," he said, handing one to her. "Hot coffee." Olivia looked at the mug, then at him. "Thank you." John sat in the armchair across from the sofa, taking a sip of his own coffee. He watched Chloe drinking her bottle with that typical baby concentration. "She looks just like her sister," he commented. "The same light eyes. They are very similar. Sometimes even I get them confused when I'm too tired." John smiled. "I can imagine." They were silent for a moment. It wasn't an uncomfortable silence. It was peaceful, even, as if they didn't need to fill every second with words. Then John got up and went to the hallway. Olivia heard him rummaging through something, and when he returned, he was carrying a shopping bag. "I got this last night after you fell asleep," he said, placing the bag on the floor near Olivia. "I went to the 24-hour pharmacy on the corner." Olivia frowned, confused. "What is it?" "Diapers," John replied simply. "Formula, too. And some little clothes I found there. I don't know if they'll fit, but—" Olivia felt her chest tighten. She put the coffee mug on the small table and opened the bag with one hand, still holding Chloe with the other. Inside, there was a large pack of diapers, 2 cans of powdered formula, and 3 small baby grows, 1 light pink, 1 yellow, and 1 white with a star pattern. Olivia's eyes immediately filled with tears. You bought this?" "I did. I thought you might need it, but it must have been expensive." "Don't worry about that," John said, sitting down again. "The important thing is that they have what they need." Olivia hugged the pink baby grow against her chest, tears streaming freely now. "I don't know what to say." "You don't need to say anything." "I do," she insisted, her voice choked. "First to no one. No one has ever done something like this for me, for us." John just gave a small smile and took another sip of coffee. He didn't like to make a big deal out of the good things he did. He had always been like that. Chloe finished her bottle, and Olivia placed her on her shoulder to burp. At that moment, Claire also started waking up, whimpering softly. "Say I'll get her." John got up, and before Olivia could say anything, he had already picked up Claire with surprising care. "You know how to hold a baby?" Olivia asked, impressed. "Lily was a baby once," John replied, rocking Claire gently. "You don't forget." Claire stopped whimpering and looked at John with those clear, curious little eyes. He smiled at her. "Say, Claire, did you sleep well?" The baby kept looking at him, serious, as if she were studying that new face. Then, suddenly, she gave a small smile. "Look at that," John chuckled softly. "I think she likes me." Olivia smiled, wiping the tears from her face. "She doesn't smile for just anyone. Then I'm lucky." At that moment, they heard shuffling footsteps coming from the hallway. Lily appeared at the door, her hair all messy and rubbing her eyes. She was wearing unicorn pajamas and carrying her teddy bear under her arm. "Good morning," she said in a sleepy voice. "Good morning, sweetie," John replied. Lily looked at her father holding Claire, and her eyes lit up. She ran over to him. "You're holding the baby." "I am," and she even smiled at me. "Really?" Lily stood on her tiptoes, trying to get a better look at Claire's face. "Hi, Claire. Do you remember me?" Claire looked at Lily and gave another little smile. She remembered. Lily jumped up excitedly, but quickly controlled herself, remembering she couldn't make too much noise. "Can I hold her too?" Olivia hesitated for a second, but then nodded. "You can, but you have to sit on the sofa, okay?" "Okay." Lily ran to the sofa and sat down, holding out her little arms. John carefully handed Claire over, and Lily held her as if she were holding the greatest treasure in the world. "Hi, Claire," she whispered, looking at the baby with admiration. "You are so tiny." Olivia watched the scene, her heart tight in a good way. Lily was so careful, so gentle, and Claire seemed comfortable there, in the arms of the girl she had just met. "Chloe wants a cuddle too," Lily asked, looking at Olivia. "She just finished feeding. Let her rest for a bit." "Okay." Lily turned her attention back to Claire, rocking her gently and humming a quiet little song. John sat next to Olivia on the sofa. She's great with babies. She is, Olivia agreed. She's an amazing girl. Thank you. I try my best. You're doing a wonderful job. They stayed there, the three of them on the sofa, with the two babies. It felt natural, as if they had been doing it for years. After a while, John got up. I'll make breakfast. Are pancakes okay? That's wonderful, Olivia replied. I want pancakes, Lily said, excited. With syrup, John laughed and went to the kitchen. Olivia stayed there with Lily and the twins, listening to the clatter of dishes, the stove turning on, the oil sizzling in the frying pan. Olivia, Lily called softly. Yes? Chloe and Claire slept cuddled up last night. I woke up in the middle of the night to get water and saw them together, all cozy. Olivia smiled. They always sleep like that, ever since they were born. If we separate them, they start crying. That's so sweet, Lily sighed. It must be nice to have a twin sister. You're never alone. It is nice. Lily was silent for a moment, just looking at Claire. Olivia. Yes. Are you going to stay here longer? Olivia didn't know what to answer. She wasn't sure. John had said they could stay, but she didn't know how long he really meant. I don't know, Lily. I wish you would stay, the girl said, sincere. I like you, and I like the babies too. Olivia felt her eyes sting again. So I like you too, Lily. John returned from the kitchen with a plate of steaming pancakes. He placed it on the coffee table, along with a pot of syrup and a jar of jam. Breakfast is served. They ate together, right there in the living room. Lily devoured 3 pancakes and got covered in syrup. John ate slowly, watching the girls. Olivia ate too and felt more nourished than she had in weeks. When they finished, John collected the plates and returned to the kitchen. Lily continued to hold Claire, now singing a different little song. Olivia picked up Chloe and gently rocked her. It was strange. She had slept in a stranger's house, but it didn't feel strange. It felt right. John came back and sat down next to her again. Olivia, can I ask you something? She nodded, already knowing what he was going to ask. What happened? How did you end up on the street with the girls? Olivia took a deep breath. She knew this moment would come. And somehow she wanted to tell him. She wanted him to know. And I worked at a diner, she began, her voice low. It wasn't a great job, but it paid the bills. I lived in a small apartment, just one room, but it was ours. John just listened, without interrupting. When the twins were born, I didn't have anyone to help me. Their father, he left before they were born, disappeared. So it was just me. Lily stopped singing and listened too, serious. In the beginning, it worked out. I took them to work with me. They stayed in the stroller, sleeping in the kitchen. My boss allowed it, but then he sold the place, and the new owner, he said I couldn't bring the girls anymore. Why? Lily asked, indignant. He said it wasn't professional, that it was distracting. But you had no one to leave them with, John said, already understanding where the story was going. Exactly. I tried to find daycare, a nanny, anything, but everything was too expensive. I couldn't afford it, so I missed a few days trying to figure it out. And then, Olivia stopped, her voice faltering. He fired you, John finished. She nodded, tears streaming down again. He fired me, said I was irresponsible, that I had to choose between being a mother or an employee, as if you could choose something like that. Lily gently put Claire on the sofa and went to Olivia. She took her hand and squeezed it. He was mean. Olivia smiled sadly. He was. And then you lost your apartment? John asked. That I did. I couldn't pay the rent. I tried. I really tried. I picked up some odd jobs, but it wasn't enough. The landlord gave me a week to leave. And yesterday was the last day. That's why you were on the street. That's why I was on the street. Silence fell over the room. Lily was still holding Olivia's hand, and Claire had started whimpering again. John automatically picked her up and rocked her. Olivia, John said, looking at her seriously, you did what any good mother would do. She looked at him, surprised. What? You did what any good mother would do, he repeated. You chose your daughters. You didn't abandon them. You didn't give up. Even without anywhere to stay, you kept caring for them. That's not irresponsibility. That's love. Olivia started crying for real now, sobbing softly. I felt so bad, so much like a failure. You are neither of those things, John said firmly. You are a mother doing the best you can in an impossible situation. Lily climbed onto the sofa and hugged Olivia from the side. You are a very good mum, Olivia. Chloe and Claire are very lucky. Olivia hugged Lily back, pulling the girl tight against her chest. John came closer too, placing his hand on her shoulder. You don't have to go through this alone, he said softly. Not anymore. Olivia raised her face, her eyes red and swollen. What do you mean? Stay here for as long as you need. Until you can get organized again. John, I can't. Yes, you can, Lily interrupted. Daddy, she can stay, right? She can, John confirmed. There's room, there's food, and we work well like this. Olivia looked at him, then at Lily, then at the twins who were now sleeping peacefully, Chloe in her lap, Claire in John's lap. They looked like a team. A small team, and for the first time in a long time, Olivia didn't feel alone. Thank you, she whispered. Thank you so much. John just smiled. We're the ones who should thank you. This house needed more life. Lily snuggled closer to Olivia, and they stayed like that for a while. They didn't need to say anything else. They were already functioning as a family. And they hadn't even realized it yet. The house was silent and dark when the crying began. Olivia woke up with a start, her heart pounding. For a second, she didn't know where the sound was coming from. Then she realized it was Claire. She quickly got up from the sofa, fumbling in the dark until she found the makeshift crib. Claire was crying loudly, her little face red and contorted. Olivia picked her up, rocking her gently. Shh, shh. It's okay, she whispered, trying to calm the baby. Mommy's here. But Claire wouldn't stop. The crying grew louder and more desperate. Olivia felt panic rising. Chloe was still sleeping next to her, but it wouldn't last long if Claire kept this up. She walked around the room, rocking Claire in her arms, doing that back and forth motion that always worked. But not this time. Claire kept crying, her fists clenched, her little legs stretched out with tension. Please, sweetheart, please, Olivia murmured, her voice starting to fail. What is it? Are you hungry? Are you cold? She tried to give her the pacifier. Claire spat it out. She tried the bottle. Claire turned her face away. She tried changing the diaper, but it was dry. The crying continued. Olivia felt tears starting to stream down her own face. She was exhausted. She had slept poorly, worried, and now she couldn't get her own daughter to stop crying. I'm sorry, she whispered to Claire. Her voice choked. Mommy doesn't know what to do, I'm sorry. She sat down on the sofa, still rocking the baby, and let the tears fall freely. She was so tired, so tired. Claire cried in her lap, and Olivia cried along, feeling like the worst mother in the world. Then she heard light footsteps coming from the hallway. Olivia lifted her face and saw Lily standing in the doorway of the living room. The girl was wearing unicorn pajamas, her hair messy from sleep, and holding her teddy bear under her arm. I'm sorry, Olivia quickly said, wiping the tears with the back of her hand. We woke you up. Lily shook her head. It's okay. She slowly crossed the room, her eyes fixed on Claire, who was still crying. When she got close to the sofa, Lily stopped and looked at Olivia with those blue eyes full of worry. Is she sad? I don't know, Olivia admitted, her voice trembling. I don't know what she wants. I've tried everything. Lily was silent for a moment, just watching Claire cry. Then she looked at the teddy bear in her hands. It was a light brown bear, with a red ribbon around its neck, already quite worn from being hugged so much. Olivia, Lily said softly. Yes. He helps me when I'm sad. Olivia frowned, confused. What? Lily held out the teddy bear toward her. My teddy bear. He helps me when I'm sad. He might help her too. Olivia felt her chest tighten. She looked at the teddy bear, then at Lily. Lily, that's your favorite teddy bear. You don't have to. But I want to. Lily interrupted, pushing the toy closer. "Claire needs it more than I do right now." Olivia took the teddy bear with her free hand, still holding Claire with the other. It was soft, warm, smelled of baby soap and affection. She touched the teddy bear to Claire's little face, letting the baby feel the soft texture. Claire stopped crying for a second, surprised. She opened her swollen little eyes and looked at the toy. Olivia continued to gently stroke Claire's cheek with the teddy bear, and the baby began to calm down. The crying gradually subsided until it turned into soft whimpers, then, finally, silence. Claire grabbed the teddy bear with her small hands and pressed it against her chest. Her little eyes began to close, and she snuggled deeper into Olivia's lap. "It worked," Lily whispered, smiling. Olivia couldn't hold back anymore. She started crying again, but this time it wasn't out of despair. It was out of gratitude, relief, and something bigger that she couldn't name. "Thank you, Lily," she said, her voice broken. "Thank you so much." Lily climbed onto the sofa and sat next to Olivia, resting her head on her arm. "You're welcome. I like to help." Olivia wrapped her free arm around Lily and pulled her close. The three of them stayed there in the silence of the early morning, while Claire finally slept peacefully, clinging to the teddy bear. "Won't you miss him?" Olivia asked softly. "I will," Lily admitted. "But it's okay. Claire needs him more. You are a very special girl, you know that." Lily smiled, her eyes already closing with sleep. "My daddy always says that." Olivia chuckled softly, wiping the last tears from her face. She looked at Claire, who was now sleeping deeply, her face finally relaxed. The teddy bear was still tightly held against her tiny chest. From the hallway, leaning against the wall, John watched everything. He had woken up to Claire's crying but had stayed there, waiting, wanting to give Olivia a chance to solve it herself. But then Lily had appeared, with that huge heart of hers, and had done what he couldn't have done better. John felt his chest swell with pride. Lily was so small, but she already understood things that many adults didn't. She understood empathy, she understood love, she understood sacrifice. And Olivia. John looked at her, holding Claire and Lily at the same time, the tears still glistening on her face. She was exhausted, broken but still strong, still trying. He made no sound. He just stood there, watching, feeling something shift inside him. This was no longer just his and Lily's house. This was their house too, and somehow he knew he wouldn't want it any other way. Olivia finally noticed his presence in the doorway. She looked up and met John's gaze. She gave a small, tired smile, and he returned it. They didn't need to say anything. They were already understanding. John nodded and went back to his room, leaving the three of them there, together, in peace. And for the first time in a long time, Olivia felt she wasn't alone. She had Claire and Chloe, and now she had Lily too, and John watching from afar, always present, always caring. They were becoming something beautiful. Something none of them expected, but that all of them needed. A family. The following days unfolded naturally, almost without anyone noticing. Olivia woke up early, fed the twins, and then, while they slept, started tidying the house. Not because John asked, he never asked, but because she felt she needed to do something. To repay all the kindness she was receiving somehow. She washed the dishes, organized Lily's toys scattered across the living room, and wiped down the furniture, small things that made the house feel more welcoming. John always appeared midway through. "You don't have to do this," he would say, taking the cloth from her hand. "I know. But I want to." And then he would help, without complaining, without making a fuss. He just helped. They worked side by side, in comfortable silence, sharing tasks as if they had been doing it for years. He folded the laundry while she put it away. She mopped the floor while he organized the kitchen. It was automatic, natural, and Lily was always nearby. "Olivia, do you need a diaper?" The girl would appear with a pack of diapers even before Olivia asked. "Yes, I do, thank you." Lily handed everything over with a proud smile, happy to be able to help. She fetched blankets when the twins were cold, brought the pacifier when one of them started whimpering, and talked to Olivia about everything. About school, about her friends, about the cartoon she had watched on TV. "You know, Olivia, I like it when you're here," Lily said one day, sitting on the living room floor while Olivia changed Chloe. "Is that so? Why?" "Because the house feels happier," Olivia smiled, feeling her chest warm. "I like being here too." "Then stay forever." Olivia didn't know how to respond, so she just affectionately ran her hand through Lily's hair. "We'll see, okay?" Lily nodded, satisfied, and went back to playing with her dolls. John watched everything from afar and felt something growing inside him, something he couldn't name yet, but it was there, warm, constant. The evenings became everyone's favorite time. After dinner, when the house was quiet and the soft lights twinkled on the Christmas tree, Olivia would take a little book she had brought in her bag. It was a simple children's story, with colorful illustrations and few words. She would sit on the sofa with Chloe and Claire in her lap and start reading. Once upon a time, in a forest far, far away, there was a little bunny who loved to explore. The twins didn't understand the words yet, but they stayed quiet, looking at their mother's face, listening to the gentle sound of her voice. It was comforting, it was safe. And then Lily would appear. The first day she just stood in the doorway watching. The second, she sat on the floor, close to the sofa. The third, she climbed onto the sofa and leaned against Olivia, listening to the story too. Olivia didn't even need to ask. She just put her arm around Lily and continued reading. When the story ended, Lily lifted her face and looked at Olivia with those bright eyes. "Now read one for me." Olivia blinked, surprised. "Good for you." "Yes, I want a story too." Olivia looked at the twins, who were almost asleep, then back at Lily. "Of course. Which story do you want?" "Anyone. You choose." Olivia picked up another little book from the small pile next to the sofa. It was one she had read to Lily the night before, about a girl who traveled on the clouds. "This one. That one." Olivia started reading again, and Lily snuggled even closer to her, closing her eyes, just listening. Chloe and Claire were already fast asleep, and John had just come out of the kitchen, drying his hands on a towel. He stopped at the living room doorway, watching the scene. Olivia was on the sofa with the three girls. Lily leaning against her on one side, the twins sleeping on the other. The soft light from the Christmas tree illuminated everything with a warm glow, and Olivia's voice was calm, engaging. John leaned against the doorframe, his arms crossed, just observing. It felt so right, so complete. When Olivia finished the story, Lily was almost asleep too. She slowly opened her eyes and smiled. "Thank you, Olivia." "You're welcome, sweetie." Lily yawned and rubbed her eyes. "You read really well. Better than Daddy." John chuckled softly from the doorway. "Hey, I heard that." Lily turned her head and giggled. "But it's true, Daddy. You skip pages when you're feeling lazy, only when you're already asleep." "Still." Olivia laughed too, and John approached, picking Lily up. "Come on, sleepyhead, time for bed." "But I'm not sleepy," Lily protested, but her eyes were already closing again. "Of course not," John said, ironic, carrying her to her room. Olivia stayed there with the twins sleeping in her lap. She looked around the room. The house was clean, organized, fragrant. The fireplace crackled softly. The Christmas lights glowed gently. It felt like a home, and she was in it. John returned a few minutes later, sitting in the armchair across from the sofa. "She was out before I finished tucking her in." "She's a darling," Olivia said, smiling. "She is." They were silent for a moment. It wasn't uncomfortable. It was peaceful, familiar. "Thank you for reading to her," John said suddenly. Olivia looked up. "You don't need to thank me. I enjoyed it." "She loved it. You can tell." "I loved it too," Olivia admitted. "Guys, it's been a while since I felt useful like that." "You have always been useful. It didn't feel like it," she said softly. "When I was on the street, when I couldn't give them what they needed, I felt like a failure." John leaned forward, his elbows on his knees. "Olivia, you were never a failure. You were in an impossible situation. And even so, you didn't give up. There were moments when I wanted to, but you didn't give up. That's what matters." Olivia felt her eyes sting, but this time she didn't let the tears fall. She just nodded. Thank you for reminding me of that. John gave a small smile and stood up. I'm going to sleep. I have to work early tomorrow. But if you need anything during the night, just call. Okay. He paused before leaving the room and looked at her again. Olivia? Yes? I'm glad you're here, she smiled. Me too. John nodded and went to his room. Olivia stayed there a little longer, just holding the twins, listening to the sounds of the house, the clock on the wall ticking the seconds. The fireplace crackling, the wind outside soft. It was peace, it was safety, it was home, and no one needed to say it out loud. Everyone already knew. They were functioning as a family, naturally, without forcing it, without planning, just happening. And it was the most beautiful thing any of them had felt in a long time. Olivia slowly got up, carrying the twins to the sofa where they slept. She covered them carefully, kissed each of their foreheads, and lay down beside them. She closed her eyes, listening to the soft breaths of Chloe and Claire. And for the first time in weeks, she slept soundly, because she knew that, in that house, they were safe. They were home. The afternoon was quiet. The sun streamed through the living room window, creating squares of light on the wooden floor. The twins were sleeping on the sofa, bundled in their blankets, and the house was silent. Olivia was sitting on the living room floor, folding Chloe and Claire's clothes. John had washed everything this morning before going out to take care of a few things, and now she organized each piece carefully. The tiny baby grows, the minuscule socks, the soft little hats. It was a simple task, but she enjoyed it. She liked caring for things, keeping everything organized. She liked feeling that she was contributing. She picked up a light pink bodysuit and folded it, placing it on the pile next to her. Then she heard soft footsteps coming from the hallway. Lily appeared at the living room door. She was wearing a blue dress with little flowers, her hair tied in a loose ponytail, and under her arm, as always, was the teddy bear. No, wait. Olivia frowned. Wasn't that the teddy bear Lily had given to Claire a few days ago? Hi, Lily, Olivia said, smiling. Everything okay? Lily nodded slowly, but didn't say anything. She just stood there, looking at Olivia with a serious expression. Want to help me fold the clothes? Olivia offered. I can. Lily sat down on the floor next to Olivia, but didn't pick up any clothes. She just stayed there, hugging the teddy bear, quiet. Olivia realized something was different. Lily was always talkative, always had a story to tell, a question to ask. But now she was silent. Are you okay? Olivia asked again, softer this time. Lily looked at the teddy bear, running her fingers over the red ribbon on its neck. Olivia? Yes. Can I ask you something? Of course, you can ask anything you want. Lily took a deep breath, as if gathering courage. Do you like being a mom? Olivia blinked, surprised by the question. I love being a mom, she answered sincerely. It's hard sometimes, but I love it, even when you're tired. Even when I'm tired, Lily was silent again, processing the answer. Then she asked, And do you think you can be a mum to more than one child at the same time? Of course you can, Olivia replied, smiling. Many mothers have several children. I have 2, for example. But they are twins. They were born together. That's true. But there are mothers who have children of different ages, and they love all of them just the same. Lily hugged the teddy bear against her chest, and Olivia noticed her eyes were glistening, as if she were holding back tears. Lily. Olivia dropped the clothes she was folding and turned fully toward the girl. What is it, sweetie? Lily bit her lower lip, and a tear streamed down her face. I miss having a mum. Olivia's chest tightened immediately. She reached out and gently touched Lily's face. Lily, I never had a mum, the girl continued, her voice trembling. My daddy has taken care of me since I was born. He's very good. He does everything. But there are things only a mom does, you know? Olivia felt her own eyes sting. What kind of things? Like reading stories at night the way you do? Like holding us when we're sad? Like just being there always? More tears streamed down Lily's face, and she wiped them away with the back of her hand. At school, everyone has a mum. They pick up their kids. They make their lunches. They go to the parties. My daddy does all of that too, but it's not the same thing. Olivia pulled Lily close, and the girl went, dropping the teddy bear on the floor and throwing herself into her arms. I know it's not the same thing, Olivia whispered, stroking Lily's hair. And it's okay to feel that way, Lily sobbed softly, clinging to Olivia. I don't want my daddy to be sad. I love him, but I wanted to have a mom too. Olivia hugged Lily tighter, feeling her heart break. Your daddy won't be sad, Lily. He loves you more than anything. And he wants you to be happy. Lily raised her face, her eyes red and wet. Olivia, yes. The girl took a deep breath, trembling a little. Can you be my mum too? Olivia felt a giant lump form in her throat. Lily's words echoed inside her, heavy, loaded with meaning. She looked at that 5-year-old girl, her eyes full of hope and fear at the same time, waiting for an answer. Lily? Olivia began, but her voice failed. I know you already have Chloe and Claire, Lily said quickly, as if she needed to say everything before losing her courage. But you said you can be a mom to more than one child. And I would be very good. I would help with everything. I would share my room. I would share my toys. I just wanted to have a mom. The lump in Olivia's throat grew even bigger. Tears fell freely, wetting her face. She pulled Lily back into the hug, pressing the girl tightly against her chest. Oh, Lily, she whispered, her voice broken. So can you? Lily asked softly, her voice full of hope. Olivia pushed Lily away just a little, to look into her eyes. She held the girl's face with both hands, with all the affection in the world. I will take care of you the way I take care of my babies, she said, tears still streaming. As long as I'm here, you will have everything a daughter needs. I promise. Lily's eyes lit up. Do you really promise? I promise. Lily threw herself into Olivia's arms again, crying, but this time they were tears of relief, of happiness. Thank you, Olivia. Thank you so much. Olivia hugged her tightly, letting her own tears fall onto the girl's hair. She kissed the top of Lily's head and gently rocked her, just as she did with Chloe and Claire when they needed comfort. You don't have to thank me, she whispered. You are an amazing girl, Lily. They stayed like that for a while, hugging on the living room floor, while the twins slept peacefully on the sofa. Lily snuggled completely into Olivia, finally relaxing, finally feeling what she had missed her whole life, a mother's hug. And in the hallway, leaning against the wall, John watched everything. He had returned a few minutes earlier, entered silently through the front door and heard the entire conversation. He had heard Lily's request. He had heard Olivia's answer. And now, standing there, he felt tears streaming down his own face. He had always known Lily missed having a mother. How could he not know? He saw it in her little eyes when other children talked about their moms. He saw it when she was too quiet, too thoughtful. He had tried to be both father and mother at the same time. He had done the best he could. But he knew it would never be enough. Not because he wasn't good enough, but because he was just one person and Lily needed more. And now she had it. John wiped the tears from his face and took a deep breath. He wasn't going to interrupt that moment, not yet. He just stood there, watching the two of them, feeling his chest explode with gratitude and something else, something deep, something that had been growing inside him for days but that he hadn't dared to name yet. Olivia had come into their lives suddenly, out of nowhere, in the middle of the snow, with nothing. And now she was giving Lily what she needed most, a mother's love. John rested his head against the wall and closed his eyes, letting the tears fall. Because in that moment he understood. Olivia wasn't just staying in their house, she was becoming part of the family. And he didn't want it to be any different. Not at all. Night had fallen gently over the house. The twins had been asleep for hours, bundled in their blankets on the sofa. Lily had also gone to bed after Olivia read 3 stories in a row, because the girl didn't want that moment to end. Now the house was silent. Only the low sound of the fireplace crackling and the light wind tapping against the window. John was sitting in the armchair with a mug of tea in his hands. Olivia was on the sofa, near the twins, also holding a mug. They had finished tidying the kitchen together, and now they were just resting. It was strange how natural it felt, as if they had been doing this for years. "Thank you for today," John said suddenly, breaking the silence. Olivia looked up. "For what?" "For what you said to Lily." Olivia felt her chest tighten again. She could still feel the girl's hug, still hear her words echoing in her mind. "She caught me by surprise," she admitted softly. "But it was sincere." "I meant every word," John nodded, looking at the mug in his hands. "I always knew she missed having a mother, but hearing her ask—" He stopped, his voice failing. "It was hard. You do an incredible job with her, John. Anyone can see that. I try, but there are things I can't give her, no matter how hard I try." Olivia remained silent, letting him continue. "So I was always afraid that she would grow up feeling like something was missing, and now I know she did feel it. But she also knows you love her," Olivia said softly. "That hasn't changed. You are a wonderful father." John gave a small but sad smile. "Thank you." They were silent again for a while. The wind tapped against the window, and the fireplace crackled softly. It was a comfortable silence, the kind that didn't demand to be filled with empty words. "You know," John said, stirring his tea, "sometimes I think Lily notices there's something strange, that she feels there's something I'm not telling her." "About her mother?" John looked up, surprised. "How did you—" "Intuition," Olivia gave a small smile. "And because I see how you get when the topic comes up. You get tense." John sighed. "It's hard to hide things from children. They notice more than we imagine." "They do." They returned to silence. Then Olivia asked, "Can I ask you something?" "Of course." "Why are you alone? I mean, you're an incredible guy. Good father, caring, gentle. Why isn't there anyone?" John took a deep breath and leaned back in the armchair. "Fear, I think." "Fear of what?" "Of empty relationships." Olivia frowned, curious. "What do you mean?" John looked at the fireplace, thoughtful. "After Lily was born, I tried a few times, dating someone, meeting new people. But it always seemed superficial. Empty. People wanted something casual, something without commitment, and I couldn't do that. I had a daughter. I needed something real, you know? Something that made sense." Olivia nodded slowly. "And you never found it?" "No, so I stopped looking. I decided to focus only on Lily. She has always been my priority." "And was it lonely?" John gave a quiet laugh. "Sometimes. But I had Lily, and she was always enough." He took a sip of his tea and continued. "There was one time when I almost tried again. I met a woman at work. She was nice, seemed interested. We went out a few times, but when she met Lily, I could see she didn't want it. Didn't want the responsibility of dealing with a child, and I realized it would never work. Because Lily comes first, always, and if someone doesn't understand that, then they're not the right person." Olivia smiled. "She's lucky to have you." "I'm lucky to have her." They were silent again, but it was comfortable. They didn't need to fill every second with words. Then John asked, "What about you? Why are you alone?" Olivia hesitated. She knew this question would come at some point, but it still hurt to talk about it. "Fear, too," she finally said. "Of empty relationships. Of depending." John looked at her, waiting for her to continue. Olivia took a deep breath. "I've always been independent. I've always managed on my own. I never asked anyone for help, and it worked for a long time. But then I met the twins' father." She stopped, biting her lip. "I let my guard down. I thought he would stay. I thought we would build something together. But when I told him I was pregnant, he disappeared. Just left and never came back." John felt his chest tighten. "I'm sorry, Olivia." "Me too," she said, wiping away a tear that had escaped. "And ever since then I swore I would never depend on anyone again, that I would manage everything on my own." "But you couldn't," Olivia gave a bitter laugh. "No, I couldn't. And it was the worst feeling in the world. Feeling like I had failed my own daughters." "You didn't fail," John said firmly. "You did everything you could. But it wasn't enough." "Yes, it was. You're here. They're here. You're safe. That's what matters. Olivia looked at him, and this time she let the tears fall freely. Thank you for reminding me of that. John got up and went to the sofa, sitting beside her. He didn't say anything, he just stayed there, present. You know what's funny? Olivia said after a while. We have opposite fears. You're afraid of empty relationships. I'm afraid of depending, but in the end we ended up in the same place. Alone, John completed. Alone. They looked at each other and suddenly laughed. It wasn't a laugh of happiness, but of recognition, of understanding. Life is ironic, isn't it? John said, shaking his head. Very much so. Olivia wiped the tears from her face and gave a small smile. But you know, I've learned one thing these last few days. What? That maybe depending isn't as bad as I thought, when it's on the right people, John smiled. And that maybe relationships don't have to be empty when they're with the right people. They looked at each other again and something passed between them, something silent but powerful. And do you remember anything good? John asked suddenly. From before everything got hard? Olivia thought for a moment. I do. When the twins were born, I was scared. Very scared. There were 2 of them, and I was alone. But then, at the hospital, they slept cuddled up to each other for the first time. And I thought, if they can support each other like that, so small, I can too. John smiled. They are your strength. They are. And you. Do you remember anything good? John looked at the fireplace, thoughtful. I remember Lily's first smile. She was about 2 months old. I was exhausted, hadn't slept well, and she started crying in the middle of the night. I went to her room expecting another difficult night, but when I picked her up, she smiled. Just smiled. And everything felt lighter. Olivia felt her chest warm. Children have that power, don't they, to make everything worthwhile with a smile. They do. They stayed like that for a while, exchanging memories. Olivia talked about the first time Chloe held her finger tightly. John talked about when Lily took her first steps and fell onto the sofa, laughing. They were small, simple memories, but filled with love. And the more they talked, the more they realized how similar they were. Then John took a deep breath, as if preparing for something difficult. Olivia, can I tell you something? Of course. He hesitated, as if deciding whether or not to speak. But then, finally, he said, Lily's mother didn't die. Olivia turned her head quickly, surprised. What? John kept his eyes on the fireplace. She didn't die. I lied to Lily since forever. Olivia was silent, waiting for him to continue. She abandoned me, John said, his voice heavy. When Lily was 2 months old, we had argued a lot during the pregnancy. She didn't want to have a child. She said she wasn't ready, but I thought that when Lily was born, it would change, that she would see her daughter and fall in love. He stopped, swallowing hard. But it didn't change. She looked at Lily as if she were a burden, as if she was something that was disrupting her life. And then one morning I woke up and she was gone. She left a note saying she couldn't do it anymore, that she wasn't born to be a mother. Olivia felt her chest tighten with pain for him. John, I tried to contact her. I called, I texted, but she never replied. She completely disappeared, and I was left alone with a 2-month-old baby in my arms, not knowing what to do. But you managed. I did, but it was hard. And when Lily started to grow up and ask about her mother, I couldn't tell her the truth. I couldn't look her in the eyes and say that her mother chose to leave. So I lied. I said she had died, that it had been an accident, and Lily believed you. She did, and she still believes it today. Olivia was silent, processing everything. Are you going to tell her the truth someday? John sighed. I don't know. Part of me wants to protect her from that pain, but another part knows she deserves to know the truth. She does, Olivia said softly. But at the right time, when she's old enough to understand, and when you're ready. John nodded. That's what I think too. I just don't know when that right moment will be. You'll know. When the time comes, you'll know. John finally looked at her. Thank you. They were silent again. Then Olivia said, The twins. Father also abandoned me. John looked at her. When you told him you were pregnant. Exactly. He said he wasn't ready, that he was too young to be a father, and he left. I never saw him again. I never heard from him again. Does he know they're twins? Olivia shook her head. No. He left before I found out. I only learned there were two at the 3-month ultrasound, and by then it was too late to tell him. Not that he would have cared anyway. He missed out on a lot. He did, but the loss was his, not mine. John put his hand on her shoulder. I'm sorry you went through that. I'm sorry for what you went through too. They stayed like that, sitting side by side, sharing their pain, and somehow that created something. A bond. A deep connection that hadn't been there before. We have more in common than I thought, John said softly. We do, Olivia agreed. We were abandoned by the people who should have stayed. But we didn't abandon our children. No, we never abandoned them. John smiled slightly. And that's why they'll be okay, because we're here. Olivia smiled too. That's true. The fireplace crackled once more, and the embers glowed in the darkness. The twins stirred a little in their sleep, but continued to sleep peacefully. You know, John said, I've never talked about this with anyone. About Lily's mother. Why? Shame, maybe, or fear of being judged. People always think there's something wrong with you when someone abandons you. I understand, Olivia said. I also never talked much about the twins, Father. It's easier to pretend he never existed. But he did exist. He did, and he hurt me. But he also gave me Chloe and Claire, so I can't completely hate him. I think the same about Lily's mother. She may have left Marty, but she gave me Lily, and that is worth everything. Olivia held his hand, and John squeezed back. We are strong, John, stronger than we imagine. We are. They stayed there for a while longer, just enjoying each other's presence. Then Olivia yawned, and John laughed. I think it's time for bed. I think so. They stood up. John took the empty mugs and carried them to the kitchen. Olivia checked on the twins, covering them better with the blankets. When John returned, he stopped at the living room door. Olivia. Yes? Thank you for trusting me, for sharing your story. Olivia smiled. Thank you for sharing yours. They looked at each other for a moment, and something passed between them. Something neither of them was ready to name yet, but it was there, growing, getting stronger. Good night, John finally said. Good night. He went to his room, and Olivia lay down on the sofa next to the twins. She closed her eyes, but couldn't stop thinking about the conversation they had had. They were similar, more than she had imagined. Both had been hurt, both were afraid, but both continued fighting for their children. And now, somehow, they were fighting together. Olivia smiled in the dark. Maybe, just maybe, they didn't have to be alone anymore. Maybe they could be something together, something real, something that made sense. She didn't know yet, but for the first time in a long time, she was willing to find out. And from his room, John thought the same thing. Lying in bed, looking at the ceiling, he smiled, because for the first time since Lily was born, he didn't feel alone. He had Olivia, and she had him. And together, they had 3 girls to care for, 3 girls who deserved the best. And maybe, just maybe, the best was them together. A family. For real. The following days unfolded with surprising naturalness. The house routine had established itself without anyone needing to agree on anything. It was as if everyone knew exactly what to do, when to do it, and how to help the other. John woke up early and made breakfast. Olivia fed the twins right after. Lily appeared sleepy, wanting to help with something, always excited to start the day close to Olivia. Dinners became the most anticipated time. John cooked while Olivia looked after the girls. Sometimes she helped him, cutting vegetables or seasoning the meat. They talked about simple things, how the day had been, what Lily had done at school, how the twins were developing, and they laughed. They laughed a lot. Lily, tell Olivia what you did today, John said one night, serving pasta on the plates. Lily was sitting at the table, swinging her little legs on the chair. I drew our family at school. Olivia looked up, curious. Is that so? How did it turn out? It was beautiful. I drew Daddy, you, me, Chloe, and Claire, everyone together. Olivia felt her chest tighten in a good way. She looked at John, who smiled slightly, but his eyes were sparkling. "Can I want to see that drawing?" Olivia said. "It's in my backpack. I'll show you after dinner." They ate together, talking, laughing at Lily's stories about her school friends. The girl said she had told everyone that she now had a mom and 2 little sisters, that the teacher thought it was beautiful. "And what did your friends say?" Olivia asked. "They said I'm lucky, because now I have a big family." John and Olivia looked at each other again. There was something in that look, something that went beyond gratitude or friendship, something deeper, warmer. But neither of them said anything. Not yet. After dinner, Lily ran to her room and came back with the drawing. It was made with colored crayons, full of bright colors and childlike strokes. There were 5 figures drawn: a tall man, a woman beside him, a girl in the middle, and 2 small babies in the woman's arms. Everyone was smiling. Olivia held the drawing with both hands, her eyes welling up. "It's beautiful, Lily." "Very beautiful. Can I stick it on the fridge?" the girl asked, excited. "Of course you can," John replied, grabbing some adhesive tape. Lily stuck the drawing right in the center of the fridge, where everyone could see it, and she stood there, admiring her own work with pride. "Now everyone knows we're a family," she said, satisfied. Olivia had to turn away to discreetly wipe her tears. John noticed and placed his hand on her shoulder, squeezing gently. "It's okay," he whispered. She nodded, smiling through her tears. Lily had become inseparable from Olivia. In the morning, she ran to the living room even before breakfast, just to say good morning to Olivia and the twins. In the afternoon, when she returned from school, she dropped her backpack and went straight to look for them. "Olivia, can I hold Chloe?" "Of course, come here." Lily sat on the sofa, and Olivia carefully placed Chloe in her arms. The girl rocked the baby with all the care in the world, humming softly, talking to her as if Chloe could understand every word. "Hi, Chloe." "It's me, your big sister. I'm going to take care of you forever, okay?" Chloe looked at Lily with those curious light eyes, and sometimes even gave a little smile. "She smiled at me," Lily shouted excitedly. "Olivia, she smiled. I saw it. She loves you. And I love her." John watched everything from afar, leaning against the door, his heart overflowing. Seeing Lily so happy, so complete, was everything he had ever wanted. And now, finally, she had it. The twins had also changed. Before, they woke up several times during the night, crying, restless. But now, with the routine established, with the constant warmth of the house and the comforting presence of everyone around, they slept better. They slept almost all night. Olivia could hardly believe it. "They didn't wake up once last night," she said one morning, surprised. "Really?" John was making coffee, but he stopped to look at her. "Really? They slept straight through." "It's because they feel safe," John said, smiling. "Just like you." Olivia felt her face flush. She looked away, but smiled. "Yeah, I guess so." There was something different about the way John and Olivia looked at each other now. It was no longer just gratitude. It was no longer just friendship. When he passed her in the kitchen, their arms brushed, and both felt a shiver. When she laughed at some silly joke he made, he kept looking at her for a few extra seconds, as if wanting to imprint that sound on his memory. When he helped rock the twins, Olivia observed his gentleness, his patience, and felt her chest tighten with something that was more than just admiration. And when she sat beside him on the sofa at night, after all the girls were asleep, he noticed how she leaned slightly into him, as if seeking comfort in the closeness. They didn't talk about it. They didn't need to. The gestures said everything. One afternoon, while Olivia was folding clothes in the living room, John came in with Lily. The girl had just arrived from school and was excited. "Olivia, Olivia! My teacher said we're going to have a presentation." "Is that so? That's great. It's about families. Everyone is going to talk about their family in front of everyone." Olivia smiled. "And what are you going to talk about?" Lily thought for a second. I'm going to say that my family is Daddy, you, Chloe, and Claire. I'm going to say that we have dinner together every day, that you read stories to me, and that my daddy makes the best pasta in the world." John laughed. "Is that all?" "And that we're happy," Lily completed, serious. "Very happy." Olivia felt her eyes sting again. She opened her arms, and Lily ran into the hug. "We are happy," Olivia whispered, kissing the top of the girl's head. John watched the scene, leaning against the wall, and felt something click inside him, as if a missing piece had finally found its place. That night, after Lily went to sleep and the twins were quiet, John and Olivia stayed in the living room as they always did. The fireplace crackled softly. The Christmas tree lights still twinkled gently. The house smelled of warm bread that John had made earlier. "You know," Olivia said, breaking the silence, "I never thought I would feel at home again." John looked at her. "And now?" "Now I do." He smiled. "I'm glad to hear that. Thank you, John, for everything. You don't need to thank me." "Yes, I do. You changed my life, for the girls' lives." John leaned forward, his elbows on his knees. "You changed ours too." They looked at each other, and the silence that followed was loaded with meaning. There was something unspoken hanging in the air, something they both felt, but hadn't yet dared to put into words. But it was there, growing, getting stronger every day. Olivia looked away first, smiling shyly. "I think it's time for bed." "I think so." They stood up. John collected the mugs and took them to the kitchen. Olivia straightened the twins, covering each one with care. When John returned, he stopped at the living room door, just watching. Olivia was there, looking after the girls as if she had always been a part of that place, and, in a way, now she was. "Good night, Olivia." "Good night, John." He went to his room, and she lay down next to the twins on the sofa. And as the silence of the night enveloped the house, they both thought the same thing. This was no longer temporary. It was no longer just a helping hand. This had become a home, a family, and neither of them wanted it to be any different. The house had transformed effortlessly, without forcing it, just happening naturally, day after day, smile after smile, gesture after gesture. And it was perfect, exactly the way it was supposed to be. Night had fallen peacefully over the house. Lily was already in her room, sleeping soundly after hearing 2 stories. The twins were also asleep, bundled in their blankets on the sofa, breathing softly and calmly. Olivia was sitting on the living room floor, next to the sofa, just watching Chloe and Claire. She gently ran her hand over their blonde hair, an automatic gesture full of love, but her face was serious, thoughtful. John entered the room with 2 mugs of tea and stopped when he saw her like that. He knew that expression. It was the expression of someone who was thinking too much, carrying a weight she didn't need to carry alone. "Are you okay?" he asked, sitting beside her and handing her a mug. Olivia took the tea but didn't drink. She just held it, feeling the warmth in her hands, as if she needed it to anchor herself. "John, I need to talk to you." He felt his chest tighten. That tone of voice, he knew it well. It was the tone of someone about to say something difficult, something that had been kept inside for too long. "Of course. You can talk about anything you want." Olivia took a deep breath, looking at the twins before finally speaking. I think I've stayed here longer than I should have." John felt as if he had been punched in the stomach. The air rushed out of his lungs all at once. "What?" "I came here because I had no choice," Olivia continued, her voice low but firm. "You took me in when I needed it most. You gave me food, warmth, safety, a roof. But it's been weeks, John, and I can't keep taking advantage of your kindness." "You're not taking advantage of anything," John quickly said, his voice coming out louder than he intended. "Yes, I am," Olivia insisted, finally looking at him. Her eyes were red as if she had been crying earlier. "You have your life, your routine, your daughter, and I showed up out of nowhere and messed everything up. I brought my daughters, my baggage, my problems. You didn't ask for any of this." "You didn't mess anything up," John said, his voice more controlled now but still intense. "Yes, I did. I occupied your space or your house, and I need to start getting organized, looking for a job, finding a place to live with the girls. I can't keep depending on you forever. It's not fair to you." John placed his mug on the floor with more force than he intended, making a sharp noise that echoed in the silent room. He turned completely toward her. "So Olivia, look at me." She hesitated but looked. "You are not depending on me," John said firmly. "We are living together. We are functioning as a family. That's not dependency. That's partnership. It's sharing life." Olivia felt her eyes sting, tears threatening to fall. "But it wasn't supposed to be like this. I didn't want you to feel obligated to take care of me, obligated to keep me here out of pity or politeness." "Pity?" John almost laughed, but it was a humorless laugh. "Do you really think it's out of pity?" "I don't know," Olivia admitted, her voice breaking. "I just know that I can't stay here without having something to offer in return. Without being able to truly contribute." "Stop," John said, raising his hand. "Please let me talk." Olivia closed her mouth, tears already silently streaming down her face. She nodded, giving him space to speak. John took a deep breath, trying to organize his thoughts. He had so much to say but didn't know where to start. So he decided to start with the simplest truth. "Since you arrived here, everything has changed," he began, his voice low but firm. "The house became more alive, warmer, fuller. And it's not just because there are more people, it's because you brought something that was missing for a long time." Olivia kept looking at him, listening to every word. "Aunt Lily is happier than I've ever seen her," John continued. "She wakes up smiling every day. She talks about you all the time. At school, to her friends, to anyone who will listen. She finally has what she always wanted. A mom, and not just any mom. It's you." Olivia sobbed softly, putting her hand over her mouth. "And I—" John stopped, swallowing hard, feeling his own throat tighten. "I'm different too. I didn't know anything was missing in my life until you arrived. I thought everything was fine, that Lily and I were enough, and we were. But now I realize that life can be more than just surviving. It can be truly living." "John, don't say that," Olivia began, but he continued. "Why not?" "It's the truth," he said, looking directly into her eyes. "I realized we work, Olivia. We really work. It's not forced. It's not strange. It's not temporary. It's natural. As if you've always been a part of our life. As if this has always been your place." Olivia wiped the tears from her face with the back of her hand, but they kept falling. "I wake up in the morning, and you're already taking care of the girls," John continued, his voice becoming more emotional. "We have breakfast together. We share tasks without even planning. We read stories to Lily together. And at the end of the day, we sit here and talk about everything. And I don't want that to end, I really don't. But I can't just stay here without having anything to give in return," Olivia tried to argue, but her voice was weak. "You offer everything," John interrupted, his voice failing now. "You offer affection, care, presence. You make this house a real home. Before you arrived, this was just a house where we slept and ate. Now it's a home where we live. And the difference is you." He stopped, took a deep breath, and decided to say what had been in his heart for days. "And I need you to know something important." Olivia stared at him, her heart pounding in her chest. "What?" John held her face with both hands, gently, making her look directly into his eyes. "I've fallen in love with you." The silence that followed was dense, heavy. Olivia held her breath, her eyes wide. "What did you say?" "I've fallen in love with you," John repeated, more certain this time, letting his own tears fall. "For your strength, for your courage, for the way you care for your daughters even when everything seemed impossible, for the way you look after Lily as if she were yours from day one, for the way you look at me, for the way you smile, for everything, Olivia, for everything about you." Olivia's tears were streaming freely now, wetting her face and his hands. "I know this might seem fast," John continued, his voice trembling but determined. "I know we've only known each other for a short time, just a few weeks. But what I feel, it's real, Olivia. It's the most real thing I've ever felt in my life, and I don't want to pretend it's not. I don't want to pretend anymore that you're just a friend, that you're only here temporarily. Because that's not true. Not for me. Olivia covered her face with her hands, sobbing louder now. I'm so scared, John, she said between sobs. I'm scared to depend again. I'm scared to trust and be abandoned again. I'm scared you'll wake up one day and realize you don't want this anymore. That I'm too much of a burden. You are not a burden, John said firmly, pulling her hands away from her face. You never were and you never will be, and I'm not going to wake up one day and change my mind. Because what I feel for you isn't fleeting. It's not pity, it's not obligation, it's love, Olivia. Real love. Olivia looked at him through her tears, and something inside her broke, not from pain, but from relief. I've fallen in love with you too, she whispered. John felt his heart almost burst in his chest. What? She smiled through her tears, letting her guard down completely. I've fallen in love with you too, John, she repeated, her voice firmer now. Hi for your patience, your generosity, the incredible father you are. For the way you welcomed me when I had nothing, for the way you never made me feel like a burden, for the way you look at me as if I really matter. You do matter, John said, his voice choked. You matter very much. You and your girls are part of my life now, and I don't want that to change. Never. Olivia threw herself into his arms, and John held her tight as if afraid she would disappear. They stayed like that, hugging on the living room floor, crying together, letting all the fears, all the doubts, all the insecurities drain away. It was a hug of relief, of acceptance, of truth. It was a hug of home. I was so afraid of losing you, John whispered, his face buried in her hair. Of you leaving and taking the girls, of this house becoming empty again. I was scared too, Olivia replied, hugging him tighter. Scared to depend, scared to get hurt again. But I don't want to be scared anymore. Not of you. Then don't be, John said, pulling away just enough to look into her eyes. Stay here, with me, with Lily, with your girls. We'll build this together. A real family. Olivia looked into his eyes and smiled. Together? Together, John confirmed, smiling too. Me, you, Lily, Chloe, and Claire. We are already a family, Olivia. We have been for a while. We just needed to admit it, she nodded. Together, then. They hugged again, and this time the embrace was different. It was a promise. It was commitment. It was love declared and accepted. And then, from the hallway, they heard an excited little voice. Are you guys dating? John and Olivia quickly separated. Lily was standing there in her pajamas, holding her teddy bear with a huge grin on her face. Lily, John began, you should be asleep. I woke up from the noise, the girl said, walking into the room. But it was Happy crying, right? Olivia laughed through her tears. It was, yes. Very Happy crying. Lily ran over to them and threw herself in the middle, hugging both of them. So you're going to stay together? Forever? John looked at Olivia, who smiled back. Yes, John said. We're going to stay together. Lily cheered excitedly, but quickly covered her mouth, remembering the twins. Sorry, she whispered. But I'm so happy. We are too, Olivia said, kissing her cheek. Does that mean I have a real mom now? Lily asked, her little eyes sparkling. Olivia held Lily's face with both hands. It means you always had a mom, sweetie. It just took me a little while to get to you, but now I'm here and I'm not going anywhere. Lily threw herself around Olivia's neck. I love you, Olivia, very, very, very much. Olivia closed her eyes. I love you too, Lily, very, very, very much. John hugged the two of them, and they stayed like that for a while, a small family, hugging on the living room floor, while the twins slept peacefully. When they finally separated, Lily yawned. Can I sleep here with you? You can, Olivia said. Lily snuggled onto the sofa, lying down between the twins. John covered her with care. Now we're a real family, Lily murmured. A complete family. We are, John agreed. They stayed there, watching the three girls sleep. The fireplace crackled. The Christmas tree lights twinkled softly. Thank you, Olivia whispered. For what? for making me believe again. In family, in love, in starting over. John took her hand and intertwined their fingers. You made me believe too. Olivia rested her head on his shoulder, and John kissed the top of her head. We met at the right time, she said. At the perfect time, he agreed. They stayed like that, in silence, enjoying the moment, enjoying each other's presence, enjoying the peace they had finally found. There was no more fear. There was no more doubt. There was no more loneliness. They had found each other in the middle of the snow on a Christmas night when both were lost. And now they had truly found each other, as family, as love, as home. The house was no longer just John and Lily's. It was theirs, all of them. A complete family, and it always would be. If this story touched your heart, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next ones. Leave a like, because it helps this story get recommended to more people. See you in the next story.